Call the public hearing for the tentative road department budget amended for fiscal year 2021-2022. And if we can have if we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Niardowski.
Present.
Trustee Keenley. Trustee Wojcicki.
Present.
Trustee Dante.
Present.
Supervisor Bussie.
Present. Okay, today is the hearing for the tentative road department budget for fiscal year 2021-2022. If you remember, we had to balance the budget. You were allowed to transfer within a budget or within a fund up to 10%. This was higher for a couple different reasons, including spending a little bit more on fixing one of the roads, as well as expenses shifting from one year to the other year. And so we've had this. We presented a amended budget. Is there any public comments? No. Are there any board comments or questions?
No.
No. Okay. Then, as you guys know, this will be voted on in our regular meeting. This was only a public hearing. There's no action taken at this meeting. So, if there's no public comments, there's no board comments, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's closed. Adjourn. The regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees of Elk Grove Township, this day of June 27th order. I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance again.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Trustee Niardowski.
Present.
Trustee Keenley. Trustee Wojcicki.
Present.
Trustee Dante.
Present.
Supervisor Bussie.
Present. Okay, just a question on that. Dick is injured. Did he contact you all about Zoom?
He said that he wasn't going to be here to visit with me. Oh, no, he didn't contact me about that, no.
Okay, all right, because I had said he could participate via Zoom. Okay. Is there any public comment this evening? I don't think so. Okay, we've got the consent agenda. Do I have a motion? Well, the consent agenda is the authorization of payrolls and bills, my reports, and then a resolution 2022-05, which is the recognition of superior services for Robin Wilson, which, if approved, I will present at her retirement lunch on Friday, which all of the trustees and elected officials are invited to attend. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Niardowski.
Aye.
Trustee Wojcicki.
Aye.
Trustee Dante.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. Okay, we now need to approve the minutes for May 23rd, 2022, the regular board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. I'll second it.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Nope. No, sir.
No discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Niardowski.
Aye.
Trustee Wojcicki.
Aye.
Trustee Dante.
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. Okay, presentations. We have Karen from the Northwest Community Health Mobile Dental Unit is going to be talking to us today. So you know, we house the vehicle here, and then it is a work that we do in connection with other townships, and then it spends one day at the different townships, one day here and one day at the other townships. She'll talk to us a little bit about how this all works and what services they provide.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm Karen Baker. I'm the Executive Director of Community Services. So the dental program is just one of the programs that I oversee. Most of the, oh, sorry, it's a little reverby there. I see most of the outreach programs for the hospital. And I was asked just to come to give you a brief summary, overview of the program. So a lot of people ask me how a hospital came about having a dental program. And the way this happened back in 2003 is that we do community health needs assessments. And lack of dental care, affordable dental care was really one of the predominant needs identified. And the hospital recognizes that if you don't have healthy teeth, you can't have a healthy body as well. So we talked to our township partners, and they helped us collaborate and start this program. And I think it's very important to note that you guys are our partners. You aren't just funders. You know, we call you our partners. We have your name on the side of the clinic, because not only do you give us a financial support, but your staff in your general assistance or your welfare services offices are the ones who qualify all the patients for us and identify them. In addition, you're the unique township who also stores our vehicle for us. So, you know, we couldn't do it without the support of our 4 townships who we call our day-to-day partners. We also have a couple of other partners, UIC School of Dentistry, so their 4th-year dental students rotate through the clinic. Our full-time dentist and our contract dentist are both preceptors for them in the program and are on our adjunct faculty at UIC. So it's a great learning opportunity for them before they're going out into the private practice world or wherever they might decide to go. We also partner with Harper College Hygiene Program, and then Elite Ambulance is the one who comes and moves the clinic for us every day. So as I mentioned, our first clinic we opened was in 2003. In 2016, we had to replace the clinic because of just it kind of seen its life, and all of our townships helped us with that capital campaign to replace our new state-of-the-art clinic. We learned a lot from the first one on things that we should do again in the design, and also things that would make treatment easier and better for our patients. So we have 2 exam rooms. Everything's digital. We have no paper records, and just because of the clinic design. Our scope of service is pretty comprehensive. We do both preventative and restorative work. We do regular cleanings and fillings, but we also do crowns and bridges and dentures and extractions. Pretty much the only things we don't do are like root canals. Those we have to refer out, but we do have partners that we can refer to so that the patient can have their complete scope of care that's needed. It's also important to really note that we don't just treat emergencies. We try to be a dental home and teach our patients the importance of that preventative work, so that they're coming every 6 months, so that they don't, the first time they come to see us, their teeth aren't in such terrible shape that they may lose them. So that's a really important part, and we've been very successful in that, and having our patients come back on a regular basis. Sorry. Oops. Oh, geez, sorry. Here we go. So the mission statement of our clinic is to provide a dental home for community members who do not have access to care due to financial barriers. As I mentioned, your staff are the ones who qualify them to make sure that they do meet all of our guidelines. There's a picture of our staff. We have our full-time dentist, which is Dr. Pooja Garg. Our manager down at the right is Angel Weathers, and she's also a hygienist, so when she's not in the office doing her managerial duties, she's at the chair side providing cleanings and patient care. And then our bilingual dental assistant is Julie Lopez. And as I mentioned, we also have a contract dentist, UIC students, and we do have a few volunteers, not nearly where we were at pre-COVID. We're slowly bringing volunteers back. We also, because I am not a clinical person, have oversight from community oral healthcare professionals. So we have a dental advisory committee who I can go to, and we can bring proposed changes we're thinking about the clinic. If I'm concerned about data or outcomes or something like that, we can review that with all the dental professionals, and they kind of lead us in making our decisions and making sure we're following best practices, because we really want to do everything the way a private practice would, and treat our patients the same way. Eligibility and fees, eligibility and fees. So the only patients we serve are patients of our 4 townships who are our partners: Elk Grove, Palatine, Schaumburger, Wheeling. We don't do walk-ins, as I mentioned. They have to be 200% below the federal poverty level or on general assistance or Medicaid. And some adults are charged a $30 copay, but not all, and all children are completely free. One thing to note, too, in Elk Grove is we do serve 4 of the elementary schools in District 59, which have a very high percentage of kids on free and reduced lunch. So it's a great service and a good way to get out to the kids. And what's nice, too, is we treat the kids, and then the parents get connected with us as well and come to the township and qualify, so we can serve the whole family. And then just to give you an idea on how we sustain the clinic financially, is our average operating cost is about $340,000. That's before COVID. The townships, as you can see, pay a very significant amount in funding it. 41% of the annual operating budget comes from our 4 townships. The hospital pays 26%. 18% are from those $30 copays and fees. We do charge a little bit more. We do charge a little bit more for the dentures and crowns. Anything we have to send out a lab, but it's just enough to cover the cost of the lab. It's far cheaper. I think our dentures are $350 right now, which is far below private practice amount. We get a little bit from philanthropy. Our foundation raises a little bit of money, and then you can see our Medicaid reimbursement is only 2 to 3%. So I put in front of you just kind of we update this every year to show the impact that we've made since the clinic opened. We've provided more than $10 million in service, and how that's measured is, we call it our usual and customary fee. So if you would go to a private practice and have a filling done, whatever that UCF fee is, that's how we add it all up, and so we can see where we're at. We've had close to 40,000 patient visits, and $3.1 million of the clinic has been funded by NCH over the years. So what else can I tell you? I want to give you guys a chance to ask any questions you might have.
Is the funding that you have adequate, or is that, or do you need additional funding in any particular way?
I mean, you know, the hospital just makes up whatever the difference is, whatever we don't get, you know, so we're committed to doing it. We are so appreciative of our constant funders, which are you guys. We have 1 or 2 private donors who are just very passionate about this, but right now we're okay. Our clinic is still fairly new. We haven't had to have a lot of repairs and things like that. When the clinic starts seeing its cycle, that's when we come back to our partners. Hey, can you help us with a one-time extra gift to help us replace our autoclave, our digital x-ray system, something like that. But since the clinic is only 5 years old, we're still in pretty good shape. So yes.
And for those procedures that you can't provide, like root canals where you do referrals, do those cost, or are those individual? Are the dentists? Is that pro bono, or how is that?
Well, Midwestern Dentistry School, they will do it very low cost as well. We have a couple of private dentists in the area who will pass on a very low cost to our patients. But majority of things we can really do. It's primarily root canals. So.
And can the even though it's a low cost, are these people able to pay for it, or is that something some of them can't afford?
We haven't had anything yet. I know we've had our townships. Some of them offer, say, if somebody can't afford to go where they are, let us know. And we kind of always keep that in the back of our minds. So if we refer someone to Midwestern and, it's $175, and they're like, no way, I can't afford that, we would reach out to your
Okay.
Welfare Services or General Assistance Department to ask if they might be able to help support that patient.
Because we have a community empowerment fund that
Yes.
we could draw on to support that, okay.
Are the, one of the eligibility requirements here is this 200% of below the federal poverty, and it says no charge for kids. So are we speaking, the children are part of the family of the 200% that are below poverty, or there's just no charge for kids?
Yeah,
Period.
if the family comes to qualify through the township, they'll be put in as the family income, but the majority of our kids qualify through the schools, and really, if they're on free and reduced lunch, we're going to see them. That's, we don't get that stringent with them, because we just want them to come out. We've had so many kids who had never seen a dentist when we pulled in there. It's just heartbreaking, so.
That's kind of why I was.
Yeah, no. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of our children are through the school program, so.
And I was going to ask, so these services that are available, is how do people know that these are available to them if they meet the eligibility requirements? How is that sent out? so
How do
people
the
know?
township partners know? How do the township residents know?
Yes.
Well, that's kind of the job of the welfare services, is when they're
Okay.
going through, they're addressing all their needs. Do you have a dental home? Do you have a medical home? You know, what are your needs? Do you need to use the food pantry? So they do a really comprehensive, look at each individual family or individual person. We also advertise it a lot in the township newsletters. So, probably what, social media. Yeah, every township does it a little different, but it's really your staff who are letting everybody know about it, because they work with kind of the neediest in your township, so they.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, like, a lot of people, if they're like income below 200%, they might not have the means to get through the social media, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it is in the bulletins that we send out, and we know which month
the
the truck
mailers.
is here,
Yeah.
right?
The mailers, okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Gotcha.
it's in the mailers, and my guess is if they're at that level, they're probably using your food pantry, or they're probably seeing someone from your general assistance department for
Okay.
something else, so your staff does a great job of signing people up and making sure they're aware.
I have a question. So it's usually either at one of the 4 townships or the hospital or a school? Is that where it's usually at?
It's at the 4 townships or the 4 schools, or we also do one day a month at the East Park Apartments, which also falls in Elk Grove Township. We used to have a medical clinic there, a volunteer medical clinic years ago. So when we had that, we were bringing the clinic there all the time. But when the clinic closed down and the village took over the offices, because we couldn't keep up with the capacity, so we partnered with a federally qualified health center access to open so they could see more patients. We didn't want to lose those dental patients that we've established over the years, so we continue to go there once a month just to serve those. But yeah, it's the 4 schools, the 4 townships, and East Park Apartments.
Do you have time to do more schools if they needed it and wanted it?
Well, there's a lot of variables to that. Number one is the number of days we allot to each township is based on your funding level. So our townships fund between $25,000 to $40,000. You guys are at our highest level, so you get the most amount of days each month. So that's how we rotate through.
Okay.
But if we did another Elk Grove school, we would have to take away one of your Elk Grove days here to add that other school.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the other variable is we have to have a really good nurse, because the nurse is so instrumental in making sure those kids get their consent signed, come out, get reminded about their appointment, that if we don't have a really strong nurse, the program just doesn't work in this school. We can't walk in there and go grab kids out of classrooms and stuff. We really rely on them.
And how do you determine what schools to go to, or is that determined by an analysis of need, or how is that?
We rely on the school district to tell us. So they gave us the schools with the highest percentage of free and reduced lunch, or the schools with the highest needs that they see. But you're the only township that has a school program, just so you know. Yeah.
And that's 59?
Mhm.
Is it 57 then too, or just 59?
Just 59,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
It's fantastic, thank you.
Oh, thank you for
Is
having
there
me.
any other questions for Karen?
Anything
No,
else?
no, thank you very much. I mean, the services that we provide on the social service side with the general GA, EA, and related services there, and then the youth and family counseling, and then the mental health, the therapy, and the family and adult therapy, this fits in very nicely to that safety net that we
The whole
try to
person.
provide.
Yeah.
It provides more of a full package of support that we can provide to those that really need this. And this is one area, dental health is one we just forget about a lot, yet it has a major influence on your health overall.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you for your
Yes.
continued and steadfast support. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, if we move on with the meeting then, thank you, Karen. We got, after presentations, we have the reports, so we can have the assessor's report, please.
You have my written
Thank you.
report. The only thing that I can, expand on is that we were having a major problem transmitting permits from the various municipalities to the county mainframe. And it was finally resolved by determining that the county had actually changed PIN numbers on various parcels that were neither in the public record or in our AIM program. So it caused the program that we used to totally freeze. Usually if there was a problem with submitting the file, we would see specifically where the error was, but no error message was coming up. It obviously came about that since they're putting in this new program, one would have assumed that they would have run the old program parallel so that we wouldn't run into this type of situation, but that's not the case. So now instead of, for example, if we get 200 permits from Mount Prospect, we usually do them as a total file and can send 200 permits simultaneously. Now I've instructed staff, I want it down to 50, because if we get a freeze, then we're only trying to determine, the bad pins from a batch of 50 instead of 200. I'm assuming as the years go on and the program finally gets ironed out, we're not going to be running into this, but I'm almost assured now that the problems are going to continue until they've worked out all the bugs.
So where do we still, we have the new software system, and they're installing
They've got,
a new system.
Tyler Technology
Okay, yeah.
has been the one that's been working with them on the new system. And then we've got the old legacy system, which is the ASA 400. And so they've been working with the new system, but the ASA 400 is not running parallel with them, so we're getting some interesting results from that. But we'll just do the workarounds, that's all we can do.
And is that the reason why there's a delay in sending out the?
Tax bills?
No, it has nothing to do with that.
No, I'm sure that there's probably some computer component to that, but the bottom line is that we are so far behind in the county assessor is step one in the assessment process. And once they get behind, Board of Review then can't open, and therefore you don't get certified. The one thing that Elk Grove Township, as a government entity that is a recipient of property taxes, is that if the bill doesn't go out until December, and if you're used to getting funds in August, you're going to have a shortfall. And the government bodies that, let's say, are not as frugal and don't have backup funds are going to have to go out for loans. So this is going to be a problem for a lot of the taxing bodies, particularly if they don't have surplus to cover them until those, and if it goes out in December, you know, if it's due and payable December 1st, we can't even guarantee that. This is just right now, the best estimate is December.
Why have they gotten this far behind? I mean, is this, I mean, without going into.
Yeah,
years and
the
years.
minutia of it.
Yeah, I mean, even under Barrios,
Well, actually, Barrios was the first one to get the bills out on time. It was not unheard of during his predecessor's term that second installments were late. I mean, first installments are never late. It's 55% of the previous year. It's cut and dried. You don't have any exemptions on it. Second installment, though, is the one that you've got to have all the ducks in a row, all the assessments completed, everything certified. And that's why we pay taxes in arrear, because to try and do that from December 1st to, you know, July 1st is an impossibility when you're talking of millions of parcels. But I hasten to add my commentary as to why they're as late as they are.
Connie, does that include, the late portion include also the dropping of exemptions?
We've had a continuing problem with dropped exemptions, particularly with this particular administration. We've had problems in the past that we actually formulated our own hypothesis that once you hit 80, 85, it was they dropped the senior exemption and say, prove you're alive. I don't know how true that is, but it just seemed to follow that track. However, what we're seeing now is not only dropped exemptions, but we're seeing dropped senior freeze base years or wrong base years, which truly affect the taxes that our residents are paying. So,
And the timely manner that they're going to get their second installments.
oh, absolutely. I mean, obviously, we're always busy the first part of the year filing exemptions. Now, of course, a lot of them are now being automatically rolled over, and they have been since COVID. And now the senior exemption is rolled over, the homeowner's exemption is rolled over. During COVID, the freeze was rolled over also. The state legislature finally determined in their infinite wisdom that we're not getting any younger, so they feel that rolling over the senior exemption is a logical extension. But from that standpoint, we're seeing an alarming trend that more and more seniors are filing for the senior freeze. The last few years have been very difficult on our senior community. If they were savers, they were making little or no interest on their savings. And you couple that with, you know, property taxes going up, and you couple that now with inflation and the price of gas, our seniors are hitting critical mass. And I don't know if people are that aware of it, but I think the very young and the very old have been inordinately impacted with this economy.
And I have one more question, if I'm understanding this properly. Are you saying that the property, the PIN numbers were changed on
It's not necessarily
existing homeowners?
It doesn't even matter whether it's commercial or whether it's residential. Sometimes there is a need to change a PIN, or a PIN becomes outdated if there's a consolidation or a division. You can understand if it's a division,
Sure.
now you've got to have two.
Right.
And of course, if, let's say it's a commercial situation, permits are required for any building or alterations to the facilities that they have. The fact of the matter is, we need to know what those are if we're going to properly give that permit into the computer, and it's very important for the municipalities that they get the full level of assessment for a property. Now, I will tell you candidly that the last three that we had were non-assessable. So none of the municipalities or the taxing bodies would have been affected in that case.
Okay.
And you were saying that the early indication is that on average residential property tax will go up, potentially go up 20% or so?
Everything that I've seen with the now we're in the northern tier, they did the city of Chicago this year. Everything I'm seeing in residential seems to average out to be at least 25%. Now, again, you have to understand that, does that mean that your tax bill is going to go up 25%? Not necessarily.
Right.
No, it depends upon, what the taxing bodies are levying as to what your fair share of their services are. But it's always terribly concerning. And it doesn't matter whether you're young or old or whatever, when you see a reassessment notice come in. We've had them come in as much as 78% over the previous,
The appraisal is,
the previous assessed value.
assessed value, I mean.
Yeah, property's going up 78%. We would hope that that's not going to happen again, but it does happen, and then that's why we're here. We're there to file an
Fight it.
appeal with the county, and if they stick to their guns, to go to the Board of Review. And as I say, we've always had much better results with the Board of Review.
And there are the assessments, I know the assessments years ago used to be manual. There used to be the assessor made, and their staff made the determination. Is it now more through tech, they have algorithms, or they have programs that actually determine the assessment? Or?
Yes, absolutely. It is more of a technological feat. Obviously, you still have inspectors that will go out and walk a property, particularly if it's a new property. We also have the ability to request a field check. If we feel that the characteristics of the property are wrong, we can then ask them to go out and verify.
Unless the permits weren't pulled. And
And there you have it. Yes. You're going to know about the alterations if a permit is pulled. If a permit is not pulled, we have no way of policing that.
no, the only way it gets caught is the next round of sale.
That's correct. Now, if somebody's flipping a property, that could be a very quick turnaround, but if it's not, and again, even if you're looking to the website of the county, those pictures were
Oh, yeah,
taken.
they're old.
Yeah, and they can't, and they don't have a budget right now to retake. So at that point, you're going to look at a little teeny, lovely, charming 3-bedroom ranch with a 1-car garage that's now a 5-bedroom.
Two-story.
Two-story. Yeah. With a 3-car garage. So, it is garbage in, garbage out. You can't rely on the photographs.
Okay. Does
Thank
anybody
you.
else have any questions?
Nope.
Thank you.
Always, this time of
Thank
the
you.
year is always interesting with what you're
Yes.
seeing. Okay, clerk's report?
Okay, I do have a written report, but there are no filings, there are no FOIAs, and we do have the 4th of July parade coming up in Mount Prospect. So that's it this month.
Okay, the 4th of July parade is on the 4th. The bus will be driven, and the food pantry truck will be driven. And we would like to have as many walkers as we can, so all of us that can walk, I guess Dick can't walk really right now, the rest of us should be walking with the truck, with the vehicles. And Sue Ellen has worked with Vince, and the candy and everything will be available to be thrown out. Wear your T-shirts that you were given with your position on the back. We're the second to last, will be the second to last vehicles. The Lions Club is always the last one. And I think we always get feedback, coming, about the food, about the trucks or the the food pantry. People just are sometimes oblivious to what we're doing, and more exposure that we can give to these services, particularly these sort of more obvious, how we say, more visible ones, the more we'll get questions, and the more we can talk about it. So, is there anything else that they need to know about the parade?
Actually, if after the meeting, I can just show you, I've got most everything ready, so you'll know where it's at, because I can't be there.
Does Vince need to know that, or do they all need to know that, or what?
Probably everyone.
Okay, so.
Yeah, and if,
Just take 5 minutes, yeah.
and if you can refresh my brain, I know I was there last year, but where's the starting point? I know we're last in the thing.
Mount Prospect Road and Prospect Avenue.
So Prospect,
Prospect Avenue, yeah, if you, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you want to come here, the bus and the truck will be leaving from here.
At what time?
Well, that we have to talk to Vince about, because I won't be there that day, but you could ride the bus over and ride it back.
yeah.
So you'll let them know what time it's going to be? Or
Yeah,
anything
you
else?
said the staging for us is 12:15.
Yeah, it's staged at 12:15, but you
What time do
really
you
don't
think we
have to
should?
be there right at 12:15.
Okay.
But I would, you want to be there somewhere around that time.
And what time would the bus be leaving here?
Yeah, that's what we have to figure
12
out.
o'clock. I'd
Well,
say 12 o'clock.
Whenever you find out.
Okay.
Otherwise, last time we just drove and parked, so.
Okay.
Either way.
Yeah, if you get there early enough, you can park in the parking lot for Lions Park, and then just walk
Okay.
right over to Prospect Avenue, which runs along the tracks.
All right.
Okay, and we'll be at the end. We'll be at the far east end, far east end of the parade. Okay.
Which intersects Mount Prospect.
Anything else? Any other questions for the clerk? And the supervisor's report, I'm going to go over a bunch of things here quick. Good news on the remediation. We met with our contractors and the remediation, our environmental consultants. The testing results came in. The results are such that they have indicated that they're comfortable with us beginning the construction of the bike safety and the challenge course, and replacing the fences and fixing the bathroom up and back, and cleaning up the bike safety, and putting the cage in for the challenge, and fixing the roof, and all the other things that are going with that. The only problem with that, in talking to our contractors, is that there's major supply chain issues still. One of the new ones is gravel. The union members that drive the equipment or load the trucks are on strike, and so there's no gravel available, really very little gravel available right now. So that's going to push things back again here too. At this particular time, what I would assume they'll do is they'll come in and do the demolition and begin to prepare the property for construction, but the construction itself, we have no idea when it will actually start, but it can start now as soon as they have what they need. The other offsetting bad news is, because this has been some time since we let the contract and signed the contract with them, the pricing will have changed, and they will be coming back with a
Change order.
an amended contract for the construction of the property, and I'll have to take a look at it. And if it's an issue or a problem, I'll be coming back to the board. If it's not, if it's something that's within the bounds and within our budget that we can cover, then we'll move ahead with it. If it's, like I said, if it's not, if it's something that is beyond our budgetary capabilities right now, then we'll come back to the board with a proposal as to what we would need to do. Maybe we have to spread it out over 2 years, or I'm not sure. We'd have to see. Hopefully, we won't have that problem. So that's on the remediation front. The environmental consultants will be, though, submitting for a new NFR through the SRP program, not through LUST, the underground storage program. SRP is a little bit more practical, I guess you could say, in terms of their NFR approving NFRs. And it appears that probably what our consultant feels we'd have to do is we just have to have an impermeable surface generally over the area, and beyond that a little bit, where the tanks were removed. Otherwise, they don't feel we'll have any other extraordinary contingencies or requirements.
So was that verbal?
That's just what their feeling is at this particular stage.
But the IEPA has not.
No, the IEP will not give us a determination until we file all the paperwork, which our consultants are now in the process of doing.
Okay.
They are well connected with the IEPA and have done this for years and years and years. So it's through those contacts they've made, plus their experiences, how they've indicated to us, they feel 99.999% comfortable that we can go ahead with the construction 60 feet back from the back end of the property. We have been getting some pushback. There are some questions from the village. We're getting questions from the neighbors about the fence. We have responded to the village, and we've had some neighbors come in to the building. We've talked to them about how, for us to repair or replace that fence at this stage is not financially responsible on our part, given that there's grading and work that has to be done that affects the fences in connection with our construction program. So the fences will be replaced and they will be fixed, but to do them before this program would be like building them and then taking them down and rebuilding them. So that's something we can't do. And we've checked for any major damage that we could temporarily repair, and there doesn't seem to be any major damage at this particular stage. So that's remediation. On Rapolo, we're still waiting for a response from the county in terms of the approval of the signage. Once that's approved, we will be able to have set up the meeting with the residents and have Sergeant Brown do the presentation, and we can move ahead and just execute the program. The IGAs for snow removal, we are a little bit of a standstill with the village. We have their attorney and our attorney working on the unincorporated roads to verify whose responsibility the roads that we think are ours, whether they are or not. There's been some problems with the, would that be the assessor's office? Not the assessor's office, with who the pins and so forth. That's clerk's office, or who does the?
Well, as far as pins go, that's the assessor's office.
Assessors. So we have in Mount Prospect, and what road are we on? Which road is?
Landmark?
No. No, but the major road that they're just south of, that they connect with, not Oakton, not Algonquin. What is the major road there?
Golf?
Higgins?
No.
No.
South.
I can't think of it right now. I thought it was Oakton.
Dempster?
Oh, Dempster. Okay.
Dempster, God. Dempster, these roads are all south of Dempster. It's Hamilton.
Oh, by the apartments.
Yeah, it's Hamilton,
Yeah.
they're all commercial.
Uh-huh.
It's Hamilton, East Diane, Elizabeth, and was Weiler. Now, in talking with the Village of Mount Prospect, Weiler is in their annexed territory, so we will not be responsible for Weiler. Hamilton, part of it, the far eastern end is also in their annexed area, but the middle part of Hamilton will be ours and it agreed upon.
Hamilton is part, in part of the condos and.
No, there's no condos, not in Hamilton.
It's all commercial.
Hamilton's all commercial. So Hamilton, Hamilton starts off of, goes south from
Linneman.
No, not Linneman.
It cuts through.
It goes south from Dempster, it goes south from Dempster and comes around like a U, and then starts coming back, but then it turns into Weiler for that, comes around, then Weiler is that little leg. So, and they've annexed in from the east towards the west until they hit a creek. The Weiler and the east end of Hamilton are the villages. then Hamilton is ours, Elizabeth is ours, and we're not sure if it's half of East Diane, once, because there's a median that goes down the middle of Diane, so we don't know if we have half or all of it. The problem is at we're going too much here, at the west end of Hamilton, a mistake was made by the county. They have a pin that relates to JCP, a company, and says that this road is theirs, but it's tax exempt. So they've taken a road which is clearly a township or a government road and assigned a pin to it, which shouldn't be assigned to it. So the attorneys are working on this just to verify which of the roads Mount Prospect has, which of the roads we have, and trying to get that pin situation on Hamilton corrected before we do the IGA. The only other issue up there in Mount Prospect is Linneman, the South Linneman, where the honorary Richard Hall Road named by the Rural Fire District, that is still totally undetermined. That's all goofed up. Is that private? Is it village? Is it us? We're just gonna take care of it for right now.
Okay.
Until that's resolved. So we're working with Mount Prospect. The attorneys are working. We hope to get an answer back so that we and Mount Prospect are on the same page. Then we'll sign the IGA. Once the IGA is signed, then we'll go to Elk Grove and work with Elk Grove Village for the unincorporated areas in Elk Grove, which are largely south of 90. So right now, we're working on IGA with Mount Prospect. Once that's finally resolved, then we'll work on IGA.
So that needs to be obviously taken care of before winter starts.
Yeah, we hope this will be resolved before winter starts. We have as a backup Art, but our field rep, our road and bridge field rep, but we'd like to get this in place and done. We're just running into all these little odds and ends that nobody's paid attention to, I guess, before. Now we're finding them. On the Community Empowerment Fund, the first meeting will be in July on the 27th. It's at 4 o'clock. There's members of the staff are part of this 501c3, which is an Elk Grove Township 501c3, but it is a 501c3, so it is independent, even though there are members of our staff and members of elected officials on that committee. In fact, they are the majority of the committee. And Vince is on it, and I'm on it, and then we have a number of the members of our staff, the social services side. That the bylaws were redone. The committee was sort of restructured, and I think we're in a good position now to move forward with this, to identify some fundraising activities, and also to change the mission to be more broad, that it can support like the mobile, if there's an issue with the mobile dental van and there's funds are needed, beyond just social services, but a sort of across the board to be a backup for all those different services that are related to community needs, social service, youth and family services, the counseling, the dental van, the trucks, the food pantry, where all of those can be supported when necessary by the CEF.
And that was July what, George?
Pardon?
July what?
27th, 4 o'clock. The three board members, the civilian board members, are three members that had served on the board previously, and they volunteered to continue. Paul, if you can just mention who those three members are.
Dr. Katie Ossel from District 59, Kevin Kinsella from KCK Ventures, and
Is it Vicky?
the lady from,
It's not
she
Vic.
was an assistant principal at Elder High School. Now she's
Oh, here,
in
right.
the building that is a part of high school for kids, I think.
Oh, she's at Forest Hughes, special ed, the special ed programs down there. Kate, is it, or Val?
Oh, Val.
Val Norris.
Val Norris.
Just came.
So those are the three. It is not required, for the CEF, you're not required to be a resident of Elk Grove Township. These are professionals or highly qualified people that we can draw from the broader community. While the Social Services Committee is residents. Okay, so that's the Community Empowerment Fund, and we will be making that fund, we'll be making more of an effort to raise funds to strengthen its ability to support programs. The Social Services Review and Improvement Committee has been approved by the board. I still am looking for some recommendations for the residents, 3 residents to be on the board. I have 3 names right now, but if there anyone else has anyone they want to recommend, I'd like them by the end of next week. And I think we've got some interesting people so far, some good people. These 3 look very interesting, but I'd like to get any additional input so we can kind of take a broader look in terms of residents that may be interested in serving on this committee. They're 1-year terms, but it's very likely that, we would reappoint for a couple of years at least. But they're 1-year terms, that's a commitment is for 1 year. All right, the one thing I will say with that, though, we're going to have our first meeting to establish the committee and to get introduced and to lay out what the committee is and how it's going to function and what its responsibilities are. And then, because the Senate passed bill, what was it, Senate Bill 3687 or whatever it was, and basically that is a bill that requires us this year, or this fiscal year, and next, and then every 10 years, to submit a report reviewing all our programs and reviewing, our interaction with other communities around us and the services they provide and other organizations. And it's much broader than that, but it has it requires a broad analysis and review of all the things we do and how we interact with other municipalities, government bodies, and agencies in providing these services. That committee, the way I've structured the Social Services Committee, the way we structured that allows that to transition with very little change into the committee that would run this program, that would meet this requirement. What will happen, the only real change, is all elected board members have to serve on that committee. So that would be Vince and me and Greg and Dick and Dale have to serve on that committee.
That bill is part of a process in financial, isn't it?
No.
That's a different one?
This one is a bill which requires townships, special districts to do a review of all their services and submit a report to the county. And it's much more broad than that, but that's basically what it is. The Social Services Committee we've set up will be doing similar. We'll be doing a similar function, but will be more specifically focused on us and not go in quite the depth that this requires it to do. But that committee, if this meeting every 10 years, when we get to those 10-year points, when we have to modify it to do this, we'll be in a much better shape. We'll have been doing this work for 10 years and basically have the data and the information in place, then to put together this more significant report that they're requiring.
And this is the one that we have a consultant.
We're going to hire a consultant.
For the
yes.
first round.
For this first round, for this first time, we have to meet the Senate, the state requirements. We're going to have a consultant. They allow us to do that. We're going to have a consultant assist us in establishing what type of data we need, how to collect the data, how the report needs to be formatted, what needs to be in that report, and then assist us in analyzing and writing that report.
So this is kind of
that format should be good for what we do, what the state requires, and should be good for our Social Services Committee going forward.
even though there is no formal
template. There's
to follow.
no template, no. And you're going to get, each township's going to come with something different, and each special district's going to come with something different. And it's going to go in some drawer in Cook County Clerk's Office.
So for lack of better word, just an audit of services.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay.
And what they're, I'm sure what this is doing is just to show that they're making an effort to hold the government, the taxing bodies accountable from the township down. And also provides, I suppose, a written document that they can turn to if they want to really check up on somebody. And what that document says or doesn't say will be different for every township. I want us to do a thorough job, and I think it's beneficial to us. If we have to do this, let's do it right. And I think on an ongoing basis, the Social Services Review and Improvement Committee will be doing similar things, and will put us in a position for every 10 years, will make it very easy for us. So, anyway, that's where we're on that.
Will the community members be on the committee with all of the elected
Yes.
board members?
Yes.
Okay.
There's three board members on our review committee, 3 community members on our review committee, and 3 community members on the special 10-year board.
Okay.
And so I structure this a way where it'll just transition right into, our social service will transition right into the state-required board, with the only addition is that all the trustees have to be on it. Okay, the parade we already talked about, and then on Friday is Robin's retirement, Robin Wilson, and she's been with us 37 years. You all approved the resolution to recognizing her service. You're invited to attend. I will be presenting the resolution at that lunch, and I think the Luann and Dean will also have a few words to say. And I think it'd be great if any of you are free to attend and extend your congratulations to her and thanks to her for her years of service. We have hired a replacement for her. Tammy, what is Tammy? You tell us a little bit about Tammy? Pinto, yeah, but I mean, what is she? You have any background information on her at this particular point? And that you could share with the board? No.
I do think she was a former teacher.
Involved in the
Yeah, I met her, yeah.
Yeah,
interview or the selection process.
yeah.
Don't really-
So anyway, she will be introduced at the next board meeting. Chose not to do it at this meeting for several reasons, but we'll have her at the next meeting to be introduced. I just thought maybe we'd say a few words right now. No, okay, no words right now.
One thing though, like what you said though, if anybody's coming to that, if you plan on coming to the thing for Robin, it's a luncheon, so we need you to respond.
Yeah.
Because we're planning food based upon that, so don't show up if you don't tell us and vice versa.
I RSVP'd.
I did too.
Now, I don't know who RSVP, they're all going to.
Is it at noon?
Noon on Friday.
All right, so I will make sure Tammy's here at the next meeting. We have a few things to get resolved first before I have her introduced, and then hopefully she'll be able to talk a little about herself and a little about her background, and you guys can ask questions and congratulate her on coming on board. She started a week ago, so. Okay, I think that's it. There's nothing really else right now. Anybody else have any other questions for me?
Nope.
No? Okay. There's no, well, is there a motion to approve the elected officials' reports?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
There is no correspondence. There's no old business. Under new business, we have the Budget and Appropriations Ordinance 2021-02 Road and Bridge as amended, which was, the hearing was for that. And you all have reviewed this. We talked about this last regular meeting, and then you should have time to review it again before this meeting, and we had the hearing. So is there a motion to approve the Budget and Appropriation Ordinance 2021-02 RD?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion, any further discussion?
No, sir.
If not, roll call.
Trustee Narodowski,
Aye.
Trustee Woteki,
Aye.
Trustee Dante,
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. Okay, There's no need for an executive session. I will take a section. Paul, could you just say a words about that transportation initiative, that Northwest?
resolution?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That you might do the last one.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I missed that. All right, there's a second new business item, Resolution 2022-06, public comment and attendance at township meetings. I made those adjustments after you and I went to Vince and I went to the TALK education conference in Rockford, just to tighten up the public comment section of our policy. So if anybody has any questions, if you've read through it, you should have read through it. If there's any questions, we tightened up the amount of time allowed for comments. We kind of better clarified how you get yourself on the agenda to speak, and we did leave an option for the presiding officer, me, or if one of you guys is filling in for me, to be able to recognize someone to speak on a particular issue later in the meeting, but that's our discretion to do so. Those are the major things that were tightened up. Is there any other discussion on that before okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, once again, any discussion on this? It's basically the same policy, just tighten up the minutes, tightened up the
process.
Yeah, how to be, the process for being able to speak, and then a few other odds and ends. So if not, if we have a roll call.
Trustee Narodowski,
Aye.
Trustee Woteki,
Aye.
Trustee Dante,
Aye.
Supervisor Bussie.
Aye. Okay, then, like I said, we have no executive session, but I did want Paul to say a few words about the transportation initiative for Northwest Community Hospital, or no, Harper, I'm sorry, it was Harper.
I don't really have a lot of info because they had a introductory meeting to begin with, this being Harper College, and then at the first meeting, they invited the townships after the, I should say it's their second meeting. They invited the townships because they found out that what they were wanting to do with transportation, that they heard from various people that the townships did a lot of transporting of senior and disabled people. This program, supposedly, from what I understand, is they're trying to find ways to improve transportation in the Northwest Corridor and to get people to Harper College. And they want, what they were talking about at the last meeting was trying to get the townships involved. It goes a completely different way than the way the townships are run today, by all of the townships in this area, because we do senior and disabled transportation only. They want to add anybody in these communities to be able to travel on our buses anywhere at any time. And my comment was to them is that, you're talking about an increase in huge amount of capital because we have 3 buses. Some townships have 5 to 7 buses. You're also asking us to add payroll to this, and there's really, in my mind, has not been any clear explanation regarding how the townships that are involved in this will be reimbursed, because they say, I think this is all, in my opinion, is that there are grants out there from the federal government, and they're trying to get a hold of some of these grants in order to possibly improve the transportation in the Northwest Corridor. I personally don't think that there's a lot of thought that has gone into this, because just from overall things that have been said, it doesn't seem feasible or worth the township's involvement in it, because we would be running all over the 4 or 5 township area transporting people. So they're going to have a meeting. It's a week. They have it every 2 weeks, and I think the next one is a week a week from this Wednesday. So I had said to George, as you may want to come, supposedly the other townships were going to try to get their supervisors to come, and it's not going to be the whole committee this time. It's only going to be geared for the townships to get in and talk about and try to flush out, whether they like it or not. I've already heard back from one township. They have said they are not interested in doing this and going any further, so.
Paul, does that mean getting seniors to Harper College, or is it anybody? But it's on one of the senior buses.
What it would be is, they're looking to transform what we have as a senior and disabled bus service within our township, and a lot of the townships have that, into a much more broad program that not only extends for the townships beyond their borders, and how that is integrated, or how that is managed. It's not real clear, and it goes beyond the medical issues and the shopping issues for seniors to include people that need to get to school, people that need to get to work, a whole variety of things. And as Paul said, I don't think this has really been thought through. I mean, they're brainstorming right now, but it isn't. Where we are right now, it doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of real need, in terms of financial ability to do this, and ability to coordinate it in a fashion that made sense. So this would have to be significantly changed or modified to make it even worth us considering. It would be nice to provide transportation for people across township lines. That would be nice to do something like that, but there's so many other issues that come to play that at this point make that unrealistic.
Well, the concern I had with it is that if they're able to get the grant from the federal government, grants don't last forever. And then you've built an infrastructure with more buses, additional employees, and then if things slow down or the money goes away, then the townships are going to be left on their own to be able to fund that. And, all the townships have a pretty tight-knit budget in regards to what we spend our money on. We're very conservative, and we do what we need to do, and we don't splurge on things. So it just seems to me that the bottom can drop out of that at any time if the federal government says, okay, that's program is already used up, or the money's gone, or we're not going to fund it again the next time, or whatever. But this is all speculation on my part. Like I said, I've only been to one meeting, and that's it. So
Yeah, no, I get it. And I don't put the cart before the horse, but it just seems to me like
yeah, and
that would be taking potential seats for seniors and stuff that really need.
Well,
Yeah,
it doesn't
and I'm
meet our
not-
focus.
I'm not casting dispersions on the idea. I mean, I applaud them for wanting to do it, but it seems like they started into it and then found out the townships already existed with all this transportation they were doing, and I think they looked at that as a way that, hey, we already have something in place, we can just modify it and then add it to our program. But they don't realize that we already have a program that works very well for the people that really need it, the seniors and the disabled people, So,
But where's the funding going to come from? I agree, it would be nice if they can expand it, but where's these funds going to come to expand
Well,
it?
initially would come through a grants. And
Yeah,
the
right now
problem-
they're chasing a
The problem
grant,
with
I
federal
think,
grants
yeah.
is exactly what Paul said. Grants only last so long, and then once those grants have run their course, then we are left, or whoever it is that's received those grants, is left with having to fund it themselves or close the program down. So at this particular
It's not in my
stage, the
category.
thought is nice, but the practicality of this from an execution and from a financial perspective doesn't make a lot of sense unless they come up with a much different plan.
yeah, if you can go to the meeting a week from Wednesday and hear, because I think there's going to be some other supervisors that are there. You guys are the ones that, drive the thing, but, I mean, there were 3 townships that were there, and we kind of discussed it afterwards and just felt that there were some things that were just not being looked at or that we didn't understand about it. So not being there in for the first couple of meetings, Corey has been there, and she was a big help in trying, to give me information, and she made a couple good points in the meeting as well that we were at. But anyway, a lot of people are saying they're just really not comfortable with the the vision for
I
it.
just want you guys to know that this is an issue that's sort of risen to the top a little bit right now. There is one change to our bus program. It's the seniors and disabled, but we've also added any veterans that need to get transportation to the VSO office here. So any veteran that wants to come in and talk to Walter, we'll arrange transportation on our buses that come here.
Hey, Paul, doesn't Pace
Yeah.
run to Harper from different areas?
Friend, where, Harper?
Yeah, I think
the
it
Pace.
does.
I
I-
would assume, and they did show us a map where they overlaid all of the bus routes in this northwest corridor, they're calling it. But, I mean, I can't look at a map and see it and know what all the roads are, and if that encompasses the people that are needing to ride. But how do you determine a person going to Harper, where they live at? They could be people living in need, they could be people living in the best part of town, they could be living in apartments. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the number of, the lack of bus routes that there are everywhere, I think, in the country, because they've got to back somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other comments or discussion points here? Once again, we can't make any action if it's not on the agenda, but we certainly can discuss. Okay, the follow-on too for the parades, you have the parade on the 4th of July, you have the Elk Grove Village Parade in fall,
September 17th, a Saturday.
September 17th, you have the block party in Mount Prospect, but I'd really like some support there, because that's for 2 days, isn't it, basically?
What's the dates on that?
You know what the dates, Vince?
I gave him the Paul.
Okay, we'll get that out.
Okay.
And then there's one more day that we'll be doing at the farmer's market in Mount Prospect.
In September.
In September. So once again, I think the block party and the parades are really important for all the trustees and elected officials, if they can, to be part of. The farmers markets, Vince will reach out to whoever he needs to help on those. And if anyone has any other ideas or suggestions or where we should be present to make sure people know about our programs, put that forward. We'll talk about it. Is there anything you want to say before
I think
about people that came by and stuff?
the Sunday's overall experience, it was opposite ends of the coin. There were people that had absolutely no clue, and they were younger, and so they don't need the services in particular. But I did explain, just because you're younger doesn't mean that a lot of the other services that we offer don't necessarily hit home at some point. We did get a lot of people that were from the Wheeling Township side that had parents now coming in to live with them, and both people were working and had no clue about the bus services. Not back to that subject again, but they had no clue. And so I enlightened them, even though they were, from Wheeling Township. And we had one particular person that, no matter what I said, it wasn't good enough. She was under the impression that, the township or the municipality, but then it was probably a good half-hour conversation with her, and she's starting to lighten up and understand a little bit more. So I think at the end of the day,
I thought the municipality did all this stuff already.
well, no, it's not that she thought that they did it all. She thought that
Did you think that we only served Elk Grove?
correct.
That's
And so
confusing,
that
yeah.
I had to, explain to her, but then I got into she thought the tax dollar amount that the township was levying was this exorbitant number. And so I, went into depth on that with her, and I think at the end of the day, you're probably gonna get a phone call, because, she wanted some statistics, which, not knowing that 51 or 55%
55%.
of Mount Prospect is, you know, part of the township, that, you know, she just didn't have, she didn't have a clue.
This is education. I can
Exactly.
Yeah, most people don't know.
all the time.
But overall, it was taken well by the community there.
And Miriam was there. We appreciate her being there and helping out, too.
I
So,
think she had a good time.
pardon?
I think she had a good time.
Did she?
Told me all about it.
Yeah,
Luann came too.
that's right. Luann was there, too,
She
yeah.
just came for the.
She came to see the market.
She said she'd like to come back again,
Yeah.
but she would be working at the booth, you know.
Yep. So we'll do it again in September. I don't,
I told her that. I told her it was coming.
That's great.
Which along the same line, I didn't put this in the report, but we are looking to do in October 6th, I think it is, looking at the Secretary of State here for licenses and, I don't know, whether it's stickers, whatever the case may be. Also, along with that is a drop-off of medicines, medical drugs and stuff that you need to get rid of. Also, along with that is seniors, is it seniors or anyone can get free cell phones? And then also, seniors can get free cell phones. And then also, we'll be running through the garage, the sheriff's office also has a program where they can do basic car repairs. Somebody has a car they need to get fixed and they can't afford it, they can come through, we'll run them through the garage and they'll be able to have their car repaired.
So that's all on the same day?
All the same, Secretary of State, drug disposal, drop-off, free cell phones, and car repair. And then at another time in September or October, we'll do the shredding again with Mount Prospect, with the Mount Prospect Alliance.
the latter four was the 6th?
I think it was the 6th.
Yeah.
I talked to Fred today. I talked to Fred today.
The date, the 6th, October?
I talked to him today
Oh, okay.
and gave him 3 days.
For the shredding?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, but
You
the
said for
Secretary
the
of
other
State-
event, it's the 8th of October, isn't it?
No.
I'm 6th of-
Well, it's October, but I don't have the date. I was gonna say the 1st, but that's actually a Saturday. I think it's the 4th, to be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe it is.
For the shredding,
No,
or for
You
the,
guys are asking two different.
no,
Who's
it's the
on
4th.
first?
October 4th, it'd be at 10 to 2 o'clock, is the Secretary of State,
And it's-
here with their services.
Okay.
The drug drop-off, the cell phone, and the auto repair. And then the date is still to be determined. We have 3 options that Paul got for the shredding with the Mount Prospect Lions Club, which will be at
the Recplex.
Yeah.
Hours.
So,
Very fun.
question on the cell phones, like, are they just free cell phones and it's gonna pay for their plan, or do they have to pay for the plan?
Yeah, it's the Secretary of State plan. It's probably on their website. It's, I'm sorry, it's not Secretary of State. That's the sheriff's, Cook County Sheriff's Department. They do that. For seniors, they have to qualify.
So the plan will be paid for or not? I mean,
We don't know, we just
so
know
they'll get a
that.
phone, but they might have to pay for minutes or whatever. Okay.
I know that they're providing a free cell phone to people. That's what their tagline is.
Okay.
The thought process behind this is seniors need some way to communicate if there's a problem or if there's an issue. And seniors that don't have a phone are isolated and cannot seek assistance if they need to get assistance. Whether they provide a plan or not with that, I don't know.
There's companies that have plans that are very, very cheap. I mean, I think the cell phone is probably the most expensive.
Then they provided,
Especially if it's-
then they provide advice as to where to get the,
Yeah.
All right.
And that's the county.
yeah.
The county's doing it for the Illinois Secretary of State's doing it.
So it's a combination of the Sheriff's Office, the Secretary of State, at that package of stuff we're doing.
And is the shredding here or in Mount
No,
Prospect?
that'll be Mount Prospect
Okay.
at Rexplex.
Okay.
What,
The shredding.
Is Mount
oh,
Prospect.
Freddie, yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
another thing I think Fred has to check on. I just told him, look at those dates. come
Yeah.
back, What works for you guys, we'll make it work.
Okay, all right, good. All right, yeah, so I mean, in these little programs, special programs we're doing, I think are beneficial to the community, plus it continues to give us exposure to talk about the other things that are available as well, too. And these are requires some time on our part, a little bit of effort by the people on our staff, but it does not cost us anything. Okay, any other questions, anything else? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned.